Clock 10, Chicago Rocks Magazine. Down here with Mike Spex, chilling out.
What's
You know
up?
what I'm
What's
saying? It's
up?
the scene.
Peace.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to talk to this man, sit back, you know what I'm saying? See what's going on with him. Hey, won't you tell us about,
Thanks for coming through, yo. Thanks for coming through.
yeah, most definitely, man.
We
Most
already had the ill
definitely.
cipher, you know.
Yeah, we finna get another one on, no, you know what I'm saying? For your
Yeah,
listening
definitely.
pleasures. Stay tuned for that one, right? Yeah, so check it out. Let me know about, you know what I'm saying, who got you into hip hop, the four elements, repping the four elements, getting down with that shit.
Man, I remember when I was a shorty, I had first heard PE's Fight the Power, and that's what really hit me hard, you know, when I was a shorty. So that's really what got me into hip hop. That, Do the Right Thing, you know what I'm saying? And then I just started hearing about all these other artists, and what struck me so dope about, what was so dope about it was that there was all these different people in hip hop. It wasn't just like one artist that did one thing. It was like so many different artists. And then the people who really got me into hip hop though is what you originally asked me was these people I knew at high school, you know what I'm saying? And grammar school, really. High school and grammar school, that's I got involved. This my boy Devo. We also call him Il Bugga D, you know what I'm saying? Like he was from the Bronx. So he he would always spit this big pun verse, you know what I'm saying? And to this day, I still haven't heard this big pun verse on any vinyl or no shit like that. And it started with like cannibalism, vandalism, dasism, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it went. And you could just tell it was a Big Pun style. Because then when Big Pun came out, you were like, yeah, that was it. You know, and he used to have this verse, you know, and he was like, yo, this is before you heard of Big Pun, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And before he was on the Funk Master Flex tape, you know what I'm saying? So he brought the elements to me a lot, and we would break in the halls, you know what I'm saying? They would tell us to get out of the halls, you know, get back into class, shit like that. And then of course we started bombing the streets because other people was bombing the streets, you know what I'm saying? There was mad crews out at that time, like 3XD, TCK, you know, all the graph crews that you heard of, you know what I'm saying? Like they were big and they were just doing it big, you know. Like nowadays, the writers are ill as hell, but it's not bombed like and destroyed like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Like in the '90s and shit, it was just like getting destroyed, you know. And that was really influential to me too, because it was like my parents into music too, so and they're musicians, so you know that vibration of hip hop really is really what got me. It's like look at all this art. People are trying to change the world. It's not something that's criminal like. You know what I'm saying? It's shorties that like know something that's intrinsically wrong with school. You know what I mean? So it's like yo, what's up with art class? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I would do that, break, bomb, and then of course I would start making beats and producing. I was influenced by like Pete Rock, DJ Premier, the RZA, and I just Pete Rock really is what made me want to make a beat. Like I remember I was like, man, Pete Rock makes some really lovely beats. Like how do I do that? What do I need to do that? You know what I mean? Like how can I do that? And I remember my dad too. My dad, his name's Frank, and he would give me this vinyl. You know what I'm saying? And he gave me all these dope vinyls like Bob Marley, George Benson, White Rabbit, which had Ron Carter on it and Herbie Hancock. And that was the first record too, the White Rabbit, that I wanted to sample. I still never made like a beat that I really liked that much from it, but those were the first records that I got. Bob Marley, George Benson, jazz musicians like Miles Davis, John Coltrane. Like he introduced me to all of them, because at that time I was listening to all types of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And keep in mind, even though hip hop had really fresh ass shit back then, they hated NWA and Two Live Crew. You know what I'm saying? They were like, because I started talking like that. You know what I'm saying? As a shorty, I didn't know how to act, so I was just, and there was, of course, when you're growing up, conflicts between your parents if you're gonna be doing graffiti and shit like that. They're like, what you doing? Like we saw your name up on the streets, this and this and that. So they're not gonna be okay with everything. Like rap, and then I started listening to NWA, Two Live Crew. but they weren't okay with that. So my dad, he gave me those records, you know what I'm saying, to like push me into a different direction, you know what I'm saying. Like even though he respected certain artists and shit, he still, you know, like they didn't want me on that. So that's what I started doing, and that's how I got into hip hop, you know, in general. You know, that was probably it. The crew that I first got down with was called The Other Half, and Il Buggity Devo, who I was talking about, he was the dude that got me into hip hop. And then the crew Other Half, who is Shelby, Walter J. Live Harder now, we used to call him Dr. Schnoz, and then my boy Whispers, K-Top, which is called Bobby the Barber now, Max Cal, you know, like these are all the MCs that I first started getting down with, you know. And then of course Titan Clash, which is also my family, you know, my boy Mr. Justice and my boy Rob Fury. You know, this was another crew that I started messing with. And then Chino One Ton and Ebonics. Ebonics was down with a crew called the Renaissance. The Renaissance was like DNA and Show Shot and Flaps and Roadblock. I don't know if Roadblock was down with the Renaissance, but Ebonics was. And we, you know, like we knew each other. And they were down with the dudes from the basement, DJ Shabazz, DJ Score. That's how I know them too, you know what I'm saying? Like Northside Connect. And yeah, Titan Clash and Other Half were the first crews that I messed with, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I got into hip hop. And at the time too, you know, like I remember when I first got into hip hop, we used to like the dude from Titan Clash, his name was Mr. Justice, and we used to freestyle, you know, playing records and shit. You know, we used to mix them and do all of that. And I remember back then when I was first coming up, hearing All Naturals 50 years down the line, you know, and that was one of the first records we started freestyling to. So I always knew about Cap D and All Nat, and we used to love that track, you know what I mean? Like the way he mixed it with that KRS-One sample, you know what I'm saying, from The Bridge Is Over, you know? So that was kind of like the Chicago influence as far as I knew, and EC, you know, like On Ill, all that shit, you know, like had a big effect on shorties back in the day, you know. And if any of these artists that I'm mentioning are listening, you know, just know that what you did was something really righteous for the youth, and you know, like people that coming after you, you know what I'm saying, like the future generation of, you know, people that are younger than you know what I'm saying. Like we do see the light that you're shining, and you know, we're just trying to carry on the legacy. That's why I'm gonna drop the new album, you know what I mean, Carry On the Legacy. That's what it's gonna drop, you know, 2012 for sure in the dough, God willing, you know. JVC is gonna be on it. I want to get you Clock on it, you know. You here right now, maybe we do something right now, set that off, you know. But you know, that's how I got into hip hop, you know, and I'm loving this shit, you know. It's good to be a part of Chirac. I got into Chirac because of my boy Fact holds it down in alternatives with my other boy Black Attack. I've been knowing Black Attack since Amundsen. See, this is the high school that we all went to too. I know Black Attack from Amundsen, and a lot of the writers went to Amundsen too, you know what I'm saying, like that I was talking about. Mad historical crews on the north side came from Amundsen, and like AOM, TFP, people from other crews, 3XD, you know, TCK, a lot of people from that high school. It was like monumental things that they were doing, and they still around, you know what I'm saying. Black Attack, who I was talking about, he's like master breaker, you know what I'm saying. They be teaching the shorties, Fact teaching fucking how to write, you know. My boy DJ Dishwasher, and then Fact put me in Chirac through Scope, you know what I'm saying, because Scope knew Fact, you know, just because he was carrying on the legacy because of his brother, you know what I'm saying. So that brings us here, you know. I started building with G-Spot a lot because I met G-Spot, you know. We were doing what was it, hip hop political convention that we did, you know. That was back in like I think 2005 or something like that. And I met G-Spot, you know, and Demonology, and we all just, you know, like they said what's up to me. They said they liked what I was doing, and I was like, oh, dope. And they were performing. I thought they were ill, you know, and I just heard about them too because my boy showed them to me. His name's R Divine, you know. And Demonology, his crew, the Nomads, my boy was brothers with Task, you know what I'm saying. Task 2's brother, his name's Max, you know what I'm saying, and I get down with Max too because Max went to Amundsen too. So through this whole conversation, you could see how connected everything is, you know what I'm saying, and how it all is Chirac. Some of you like, who the fuck's this guy talking about all this shit? You know what I'm saying? But you can see how it's all connected. You know what I'm saying? Like, it all is one happy family, and you can see why through all the things I just told you. You know what I'm saying? And on a serious note, peace, love to everyone in the Chirac. This was supposed to be a short ass interview, but this is life, so it ain't nothing short to tell. You know what I'm saying? This has been centuries in the making. You know, I like to say rest in peace to all those who passed away. Rest in peace, IC. Peace.